My name is Brandon Hetzler. It's January 27th, 2010. We're down here in LA training with none other than Kron Gracie. Kron, first I'd like to thank you for doing this interview with us.
No problem, of course.
These questions that I came together are from my students at Groundworks. A lot of them had a lot of questions on what's going to happen within the association and your jiu-jitsu. So the first one was, for those of us who didn't have the honor to train with your grandfather, Grandmaster Elio Gracie, what do you feel is the most important thing or things that you learned from him?
I think my grandfather's jiu-jitsu speaks for itself. You know, he proved that there is a way with leverage and technique to defeat your opponent. You know, he created that. And I think that alone impacted the world. So he maximized his technique and his leverage and got to a certain level that without that his physical conditions couldn't allow it. So I think the most important thing that Elio developed, besides of all of jiu-jitsu, you know, besides the basics of jiu-jitsu, is that he created a sport that was so violent and so aggressive, Japanese jiu-jitsu, and became a sport where the smaller, weaker person, if he had the right mindset and knew exactly where the leverage was, he could defeat his opponent.
And the same thing I would ask training with your father, Rickson. What do you think is the most important things you got from him?
So I think my dad, he definitely absorbed all the basics of leverage, of being somebody weak and being able to beat your opponent. But I think that my dad, he put it to the next level because he wasn't weak. You know, he wasn't unhealthy. He wasn't frail. So he took all the jiu-jitsu that my grandfather based on, of being defensive and waiting for your opponent, and my dad did that, and then he put on the attack. You know, he started presenting danger instead of waiting, you know. So my dad developed the connection, which he always talks about, and the connection to always stay one step ahead of your opponent, and the connection to put the guy in danger instead of waiting for him to make a mistake. And that is where the jiu-jitsu, I think my dad's jiu-jitsu improved 60% better than where my grandfather left it, you know.
Any tournaments, or what tournaments do you plan to do this year?
I mean, I'm a competitor. I try to compete in anything, you know, that's going to be good for me. I plan on competing in the Pan Am and in the Worlds and whatever, you know, the Abu Dhabi World Pro, whatever's out there. But, you know, as athletes, you know, you never know about tomorrow. You never know what can happen. So as of today, I'm ready.
Okay. And that kind of leads me into the next question. One of my students asked, what if a student is afraid or doesn't want to compete? Will it affect their advancement in jiu-jitsu?
No, I don't think competition will affect, if you don't compete, will affect your learning progression. I think competition is for some people and training jiu-jitsu is for everybody, you know? So certain people love competition, they love the adrenaline, they love the challenge. Other people, they just like to learn the techniques and feel comfortable in every position and to learn to defend themselves on the street or wherever it may be. And I think everybody has their own choice. I think if you're learning from the right people, I think your jiu-jitsu is going to grow no matter what. Sometimes competition actually prevents the growing because you're so worried about the competition and winning a tournament that you're not worried about actually getting better and, you know, improving your skills. So it works both ways.
And when do you plan, if at all, do you plan to fight MMA?
Like I said, I'm a competitor and I'm a representative of Kron Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, so I will compete in everything and do everything to the fullest, you know, fighting in anything. But right now, at this time of my life, I feel like MMA is a little too soon for me. I still need so much more to learn before I can step into the ring and, you know, represent the family. So I definitely will fight MMA, but I don't know when.
Okay. And that kind of leads me into the next one. You once told me, we were talking, that all you need is your father's jiu-jitsu to fight. Do you still feel that way, and can you tell us more about that? So as far as cross-training or any of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, you know, first of all, MMA today is not what it is, not what it was. You know, there's 3 5-minute rounds, and it allows somebody who's a lot stronger, somebody who's more explosive, and somebody who's more well-rounded to have a bigger advantage than somebody who's purely just, you know, doing one martial arts. I think there's more of an advantage with that time, you know. So for me, I'm only gonna do jiu-jitsu for my whole life. That's all I need, and that's all I was born to do. I feel like the rules can complicate things because after 3 rounds of 5 minutes, you can't really decide if nobody was submitted, who won the fight. You know, it could be one more round that the other guy got tired. The guy who's using way more strength could get tired. So I think I would definitely like to fight with no time, or big rounds like 10-minute rounds, 20-minute rounds, and unlimited rounds. I think that's the way a fight should be to the death, till you see who actually won. You can't decide a fight in 3 rounds unless it's decided. So I definitely will only do jiu-jitsu, but you know, I want to fight which, you know, makes it the best fight possible. You know, I want to really show my jiu-jitsu and show what my whole family's been doing for so many years.